I see it.
Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to get started this morning. So I'm going to start to share my screen. So good morning. Thank you for everyone for joining us for our first ever Cafecito con Maestros. So just a little overview of how we'll spend our time. We'll do some introductions, who's on the line, get to know one another. We'll have our educators just share some tips and tricks through distance learning that they've experienced. And then we'll open it up for a Q&A. And so the whole point of this is to really actually have non-structured time so people can come as they are, talk about the things that are top of mind for them, and our educators can share their perspectives. So we'll go ahead and jump right in. So I'll kick us off. My name is Delia Covo. I work at Teach for America. I was a high school science teacher at San Antonio Can Academy, which is a non-traditional charter school. And then I will kick it off to Maribel.
Awesome. Well, welcome, Delia. My name is Maribel. I'm co-founder of Mindshift Ed, a community organization. It's actually a movement of parents. We're trying to help other parents and support them with knowledge and to really be able to advocate for their own children and themselves. And so Delia and I have been working on this beautiful plan to be able to get some questions out there from parents. A lot of them sometimes can't make it, but we did gather a lot of surveys and information from them to be able to formulate some questions for today in case other parents didn't have any. And so that's me.
And so go ahead.
Go. Okay, I figured we'd go down the list. So I'm Taylor Hennessy. I teach kindergarten at Washington Elementary on the east side of San Antonio. And I'm really excited to be here.
My name is Natalie Garza. I teach pre-K at Democracy Prep, which is a charter school partnered with San Antonio ISD.
My name is Adrienne Bearsmoney. I teach fourth grade English language arts at Kip Esperanza, and I'm also a parent.
Hi, I'm Alex Castaneda. I teach fifth grade at Brooks Academy of Science and Engineering. It's my second year teaching, and I love it.
Hey, I'm Ron Patek. I teach at Thomas Jefferson High School, and I teach freshman World Geography and AP Human Geography.
And then for our families who are here today, do you mind sharing your name, where your child goes to school, and one reason why you joined us today?
Hi, my name is Janet Garcia. I'm a parent advocate for Mindshifted, and I joined this because there's a lot of, I'm not a teacher, I don't have the professional background, and I joined because I want to get to know more of maybe tips or tricks or something that I can, use at home. That's why I decided to join the call today. And my kids go to Kip Esperanza.
Thank you, Janet.
My name is Carmen. I'm actually not in San Antonio, but I know Maribel through the Powerful Parent Network, but I'm a parent.
Well,
and
welcome, Carmen.
Thank you. I just wanted to see how you guys are doing it. And like my thing is I also have questions. So as I see, you have science teachers, and I'm having issues with one of my kids with science classes. So it's like, I'm hoping to learn something that I can share in Memphis with other parents.
Welcome, Carmen. I'm glad you're here.
Me too. So cool. It's that we're intercity.
Yeah. So awesome. Did we get everybody? I think the number is the one we're missing, right? The 253.
And then Seda, you want to close us out?
Sure. Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Seda. I'm a co-conspirator alongside Delia at Teach for America, San Antonio, and I have the wonderful opportunity of supporting most of our second-year teachers in the classroom, so most of us joining today. I'm really excited for this space and grateful for the opportunity and collaboration that's done. I've rarely encountered raw and candid spaces designed for students and families to just learn from one another without any boundaries or anything that's at stake that's preventing the conversation from really getting where it needs to be. So I'm grateful for this opportunity, especially during a pandemic. So grateful for you all showing up on a Saturday morning.
Thank you, Seda. And just to echo what she said, this space is really just so we can learn from one another. So if our educators have questions for our parents have questions for our educators, this is how we can leverage that and learn from one another. So we'll kick it off by opening it up to any of our educators to share any tips or tricks or things they would want parents to know about distance learning from their perspective. And we can popcorn, you can go in order, whatever feels most authentic for you.
I think one thing that, like, me as an educator that I've had to use, especially during this time, and I think parents could really leverage, is just like, if you don't understand like what a certain app is, like Seesaw or Google Classroom or Pear Deck, or I mean, there's hundreds of different apps that are probably being thrown at not only teachers but also parents right now. My like biggest help has been YouTube, and just YouTubing like, how do I, you know, add an assignment, or how do I log into something? I think that's been really helpful for me. And like, I know I've been trying to like send my parents videos on like how to do something, because it's really hard to like, we can't always like video chat, and it's really hard to like navigate maybe on the phone, but if they're able to see it on a YouTube, I hope that could help them out a lot.
I was going to say, it's been really helpful when parents join the office hours with their child, because teachers are learning right along with the students and parents how to implement virtual learning and how to do it in an engaging way. And I've personally just encountered on a daily basis different technological issues, and I'm learning from my mistakes, but of course it impacts everyone that I'm teaching. But I would encourage parents, if they have the opportunity, to join teacher office hours with their child so that they get a chance to ask their questions. And I think it helps with accountability as well for the kids. And I'm really glad Janet is on here. I am curious what grade your child is in.
My children is in first grade, and I have a kindergartner.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
That's the first graders and the kindergartners learning how to do virtual learning, I'm sure is.
Yeah, and it's like my son has a different type of learning. He's good at doing stuff on the computer, but I'm like, I kind of like, I was like, you know what, I don't have a printer at home. I had one at my office, so I think they're missing the whole thing of like writing and like having actual paper or doing stuff. So I don't know, but I don't know a good reliable website as well, like so I could start tracing, like they could not lose what they already have learned. But it's sometimes like it's challenging for me because I'm also working from home, and so having that balance is like, oh man. And then they need my attention 100%. It's not like I can do only 50 because they're not at the level where they could read at or read the whole sentence. They could read like 1 3-letter word sentences. So yeah.
I'm a pre-K teacher, so for me it's been very difficult making sure that I am providing activities that, like, because we never use technology in the classroom. That was one thing that I was like, we really aren't going to use that because many kids just use it when they go home. And so I think one thing that I would just recommend is like making sure they are moving their little fingers, because that builds up muscle strength and the fine motor skills, because without those, so when I think of that, if you could make like homemade Play-Doh, or I like to do like salt writing, where you literally just get like a tray of salt and you just have them write their name in the salt, or write the letter B for me, or write the word cat for me, those kinds of things. Those are great ways to like keep up like their writing skills and keep up like their muscle building for their little fingers, because I think that's really important. That's like what I'm kind of fearful of my pre-K students, that I'm nervous about, is like, are they gonna like still have the same practice with their writing skills when they go to kindergarten?
Yeah, I really appreciate that, because I was looking at the kinetic sand.
Yes.
I know it's been, I'm not gonna lie, it's been really great being with my kids at home and learning like the stuff that they're strong on and the things that are they're weak on. And I've even challenged myself to, okay, so how can I be a better help with them? I know I'm not a professional, but just the perspective of my knowledge of school and stuff. So I'm like, I know that they like hands-on learning, and that their strengths in like their strengths is in like touching things and feeling things and actually acting on the things.
Yeah.
And they don't find it very interesting. I make them do it because they have to do it. But I noticed that I started doing gardening and having them change to like do actual gardening, like new pots, and my daughter and my son did a really good job in that. And I was really surprised because I wasn't expecting them. Like I just showed it to them what we were going to be doing, and my daughter's not concerned every day to water her plants.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing.
And that in itself is learning. And like, I appreciate when I hear parents share like what they're trying to do during this time. I think those experiences are going to be really helpful for when she does get back into the classroom, like with those social skills. And again, that's basic science skills right there, is learning how to take care of living things. So thank you for sharing.
I'm actually a kindergarten teacher, so appreciate everything that you are doing. I know you keep saying I'm not a professional. Girl, you sound like you're better at this than a lot of people I know. So I think it's super important, like Natalie said, to keep moving. Sitting on an iPad and doing lessons virtually is not always the best thing for a 6-year-old or a 5-year-old. Really breaking out and making it engaging, doing hands-on learning activities. Like you said, plants, that's actually a teak that the kindergartners should be learning right now. It's on their ISD schedule. So they're supposed to be learning about plants, plant parts, and plant needs right now. So that's awesome. And then, like you said, we do shaving cream a lot. So if you just spray shaving cream on a table, they can write with it with their fingers. And there's a lot of resources. I see Natalie putting some down there. But there's a lot of reading resources too, where they can read leveled books. So I can drop some of those as well, so you could use those.
Thank you so much. That makes me feel a little bit better. And I'm like, man, like, I mean, at first when I started, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was so frustrated because I didn't even know how to use Google Classroom. And I'm like, OMG, like, I'm sure it's something that you learn, like kind of writing an email, how to send it, how to reply, all that. But I was so overwhelmed with like I didn't even know how Google Classroom worked, where the homework was. And I struggled for the first 2 weeks. I mean, yes, I got a hang of it real quick and everything, thank God. But I'm like having to think, like a parent yesterday called me and asked me, hey, Janet, I don't know how to do this. Like, I don't know how to turn in an assignment. And we're already gonna almost, like, I think we've been out of school for almost like a month or 2. I don't even know how long. But it's like the fact that she does like that disconnection, that she doesn't know how. It's like, it really blew my mind, and I was like, damn, like, and I have other parents that don't know how to read or write English or Spanish, or are not tech savvy, or don't know how to even write a Gmail. So I'm like, damn, that's other parents that are falling behind. And it's like, and here we have the schools and the teachers, hey, well, have you turned in the homework? And it's like, they're not answering, the phone calls. And I'm like, man, if they would have just made a how-to video like of a voice or something simple, like, so we could have gotten engaged a little bit quicker. But then again, nobody was ready for this whole COVID thing. I understand that as well. But it was
There's actually a tool I use for my class. You could bring back to your child's campus is Screencastify. And basically what it does is records your computer screen. So I just recorded myself logging into, we use Seesaw for my class, just logging into Seesaw. So it was a clear how-to video. And then I did a screencastify on how to turn in an assignment. And we use it a lot, and it makes it super simple because it shows the mouse on the screen moving exactly to where it needs to go, clicking exactly what it needs to do. So that's a really great resource to utilize as well.
Thank you, Taylor. That's awesome.
Thank you for sharing.
Also, one thing too, I've been just really driving home with my parents is giving yourself some grace. It is big to take these kids out of the classroom and be teaching them at home. It's out of their normal routine, and you are still parents at the end of the day. That's a lot. You do a lot as a parent, and putting more on your plate cannot be easy. So definitely give yourself some grace. If you're like, you wake up one morning and you're like, you know what, we can't do the assignments today. We have too much going on. They need to go have fun today, then do it. Like, you are your child's best advocate, and you read them best. So definitely give grace, and know you're doing the best you can. So.
If I could chime in on that comment, I think that's really wonderful for you to say. I think as parents, we hear a lot of comments like that, like, take it easy, give yourself grace. But I think on the back of our minds is like, well, if we don't do something, they're going to get behind. And so I think the parents deal with a lot of stress, thinking that if they do not meet these requirements or these goals or these assignments, their kids falling behind, they're gonna be calling them out, or gonna get some pressure from the school or the teacher. And so I think the pressure is real. I just like hearing it from a teacher's perspective, because it puts the parents a little bit more at ease. So I appreciate your comment on that. Were we still going down the line, Delia, on the tips and tricks, or we're just kind of chiming in?
If Alex or Ram want to share any tips and tricks they have. If not, we're welcome to just jump right into questions, any questions that any parents have, or educators for parents. Let's open it up for dialogue. And welcome, Kelly.
Okay, if nobody has any more tips and tricks, I had a couple of questions here that I had from the surveys. And let's see if anybody can handle these. One of the questions is, how should I handle multiple grade levels in one home? Your thoughts on it? I know we have parents that have maybe 5 kids at a time, all different grade levels, all different mediums of social kind of interaction, Remind, Dojo, all those fun things, Seesaw, different access, different schools. Some are in charter schools, some are in public schools, in the same household, and then some are getting packets and some are getting distance learning. So I think a lot of what we're hearing from parents is, how do I do it when they're all so different and it's only one me, that kind of thing.
I shared this with one of my families. They have 5 children that attend our school, and it's like pre-K through 6th grade. So there's just lots of different, fortunately, our school kind of told us, like, we all have to be, like, lower L has to be on Seesaw and upper elementary has to be on Google Classroom. But one thing she shared, just the stress of, trying to get everybody on one schedule. And I just brought up, if you do create a schedule and stick with it, it's going to be tough at first trying to get everybody in the routine, but that's exactly what happens in a classroom for a teacher, is we have to set up these routines and schedules to make sure that during this time I'm going to be working for, my job. And then when I have, a 2-hour break, we can do 30 minutes for my young one. And especially our young ones, they should not be doing more than 30 minutes of work, honestly. Cause yeah, that's just too much. But just making sure that you are setting up a schedule and being very like open with your children. Like, we're going to be doing this at this time, and make sure like you stick with it every day so you can create a routine. And because again, that's what we do at schools. We create routines for these kids to be more comfortable with, you know, how the school day works. And when we do work, this is when we do work. When we have recess, this is when we have recess, you know. I think that would probably be my best advice for parents, is to try and set up the best routine for your family to stick with every day.
Also communicate it with your teachers. If you are, I have a parent who has 3 kids that are at school, 3 different grade levels. And working with her, I noticed that her child wasn't turning in the assignments a lot. So what I was doing was I was posting an assignment a day, taking it down the next day. So I worked with her and I was like, hey, I noticed, like, what can I do to help? And she said that it's just been too much. She has 3 kids. There's like 5 assignments for each kid every day. So with her, I worked with her to make a schedule for her. So my other kids who are able to turn in their work daily, they keep doing that. But this specific family, we have a different plan. So I keep his assignments up all week so she can get to him whenever she needs. So definitely communicate it with the teachers, because they might be able to, there might be some flexibility in what they're saying you need to do.
Yeah, I'm talking about what Natalie said and Taylor said. The school I work at is a pre-K to 12 school, so we have kids from as small as 4 and kids as old as 19 years old. So definitely, like, the school did a good job in being flexible, and you know, each grade level has its own time of the week. And like for middle school, high school, they have Tuesdays and Thursdays, and elementary has Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. So there's no like what's the word I'm looking for? No conflict in terms of time. So in terms of routine and schedule, like Taylor was saying and Natalie was saying, that's what the kids are used to in our classrooms. So having that at home would be super useful. And of course, it's always tough at the beginning getting them used to it, especially like as teachers when they come back from summer and getting them used to that routine. So it's going to be the same at school when they're maybe used to having, you know, more freedoms or less freedoms, not sure. But yeah, it's the best I can think of. Just it'll correlate to what was happening in the classroom before this epidemic hit, and having it happen, that routine and schedule, having it at home and being strict about it would be super useful.
I mean, I think I have a comment on that, on structure in general. I'm all about structure in my house, and nobody likes to follow it, right? So it's just me. But I feel like it depends on the families, right? I think it's going to depend on what works for you all out there. If you all have high school seniors, maybe it works better in the evening, and then more, you know, like younger children in the morning. I mean, it really is going to depend on what's going on in the household at that time, and if parents work and all those good things. But I think out of all of what your comments were is just kind of having that communication open with your teachers so that they're aware of what's going on in the house, and you guys are building relationships in that way. And that's what I took from this. So I appreciate your comments on that. I don't know if anybody else had anything to add to it. Please feel free to chime in.
I was going to share, I only have one child. She's 4, but it feels like I have 5 kids in the house sometimes. It has been, you know, every day is different. Some days run very smoothly, and, you know, her and I are on the same page. But then other days it's just hard to balance work and parenting. So I guess my advice, and this might be helpful for you, Jana. I don't know about Carmen or the other parents on the call, but the best thing right now is to just be in contact with your child's parents and communicating with them, because I know KIP has been, you know, that's been like the top priority, is just communication with families, make sure that they're doing okay. Then it's the academics, but like just making sure you know, everyone, the kids are okay. But we have been very flexible with families. We know every family has a unique situation. And so if If all they can do sometimes is their reading and math, it's okay. It is Saturday. And I also want to just encourage parents, and I'm trying to look at it this way myself, but this is an opportunity and not, I'm trying not to feel like it's a burden, but it's an opportunity to be a part of my daughter's training and learning. And so sometimes, some days I don't do anything with her. She goes to a school and they're giving her activities. And some days we don't do anything but go to the sand pile at the construction site across from our house and play in the sand. Or just go for a walk, do puzzles. I think Taylor and Natalie had suggested like Play-Doh and salt, like especially if you have young kids, those fine motor skills, that is learning, but it's equally valuable to, you know, the worksheets or, you know, activities that they're getting on Google Classroom. And if they are young, I don't, you know, think that it's age appropriate to be online very much. So the more you can do outside or with their fingers, with their hands, you know, just be in contact with their teachers and, you know, just, you know, I know KIPP is being very flexible, and just their biggest priority is making sure that all of our kids are safe and healthy and have everything that they need.
Yeah, they've been really good. I'm so grateful that they've been very good about communication. And you're absolutely right. I agree. Everybody's situation is unique. And I had to kind of let them know, hey, you know, I'm a single parent. Like, I don't have another person to help me with my kids. It's me or there's nobody. And so I told them, I was like, I'm very scared of what was the whole COVID situation. And I told them, and I was very straightforward with them. You know, I was like, right now, I'm worried about their academics. That's no doubt. It's important to me because I want them to, in the future, for them to be successful in whatever they choose to be in. But at the same time, with the whole situation of the COVID thing, I'm like, I'm to be honest, I'm the provider as well. So I'm really concerned of me making sure that I'm meeting their needs, that I continue to have a roof over their head, that the bills are paid, that rent's paid, and that I get that taken care of first. And then I'm going to take care of their education. And not, I'm just saying that it comes second. It's just my children's well-being is more important, and that they're taken care of. I mean, simple things of like buying Clorox, buying masks, buying stuff. So I need to generate that money first and put that, you know, first, and then my children. And so they were very, very embracing about that. And they're like, well, how can we continue to help? And my daughter's teacher helped me by like trying to work with my daughter, and was like, hey, she can do the reading and math, that's fine. And I told her, I'm not telling you that I'm not going to do the assignments, or that I want to break, or that I'm like, not need my daughter or my son to turn in their work. No, it's going to get done. It's just going to be done in their own pace. And it's very interesting because I've even learned stuff myself. Like, they're doing pollination right now and the bees and stuff. And I was like, what? Plants do this and all this and the seeds. And I was like, I even enjoyed the classes. And it's like, wow, this is really cool. But yeah, I appreciate your comment, Adrienne.
Do you think, and I'm asking this to all parents, would it be helpful, and I sent this to you in a message, but I'm going to put it out there for everyone. Do you think it would be helpful for parents or for teachers to do Zoom calls targeted to parents on some like early elementary literacy, phonics, and math activities, kind of like a make and take Zoom call where parents can get on, make and take some activities that they can immediately implement with their kids at home? Or
I think that, I mean, there's parents that don't know how to even use Zoom. I've taught like a couple here, and it's like, I think that the ones that do know how to use Zoom, I think it would be beneficial. So because they're like, my daughter sees her, she does YouTube videos, and she's really good at what she does and teaching and stuff. But I would really like, I think I would benefit from me talking to her, even if it was 5 to 10 minutes, not just on a phone call, but like seeing her and like, you know, pretty much being her, my mentor, to do the best I can with what I got and the time I got.
So it makes me kind of think, because again, it just varies on their availability, you know, and then it makes me also think like it's another meeting that I have to do kind of like that's the thought. But then I think, well, if it's something that could be recorded for them to watch like on their own, like a Flipgrid. I don't know if you guys have heard of Flipgrid, but I know my son's school, he goes to Young Men's Leadership Academy. They're using that. And so does Barkley Reese in SASD for a soul unit. So he has an IEP. So they're doing Flipgrids for us where they're showing us how to do the activity. And then they just kind of run through it. They record themselves. And then we as parents get to see it on our own time. And so maybe something like that would be really beneficial for parents, somewhere to store these and then them have access. Like if you guys are sending out these plans, like linking them up and here's the links to the how you do it and that kind of stuff would be kind of helpful. These are just kind of thoughts that I had on my own personal.
I didn't even know Flipgrid existed. Thank you for sharing that.
I just found out about it just because of the teachers that send it to me. And it's like, I think they just rolled it out maybe 2 weeks ago. So it's something very new to me as well. It was just a video version of the lesson. And I thought it was really helpful. So I thought I'd put it out there. I know we're close to time and I want to get to a really important question. I don't know if Joe, you wanted to pop in with a question before I did.
Well, I don't know what question you're talking about. And hi guys, sorry I'm late. And I hope it's this one. But how would parents right now find out, what level their kids are reading at? Like, so that way they know, how to better interact with their student or their kid or their child, right? Because I feel like a big problem, not only in San Antonio, but across the nation is just this lack of understanding of where my kid's currently at now, right? I know that's maybe a broad and a tough question, but I think if we could get some answers to that, that would be super helpful for us. Thanks.
Yeah, and if I can elaborate on Joe's question, I think the main thing is when our kids came home and we found out they weren't going back, right? We were just like, okay, first, like, let's figure this out, right? It was like panic mode. And then stuff started rolling out from the school and it was like, okay, but like at home, we don't know, are they getting it? Are they understanding it? What level are they in? Like, can they read that? It doesn't look like they can read that. And so we're really like up in the air. Like we're just kind of confused and not sure if that's even helping or making it worse. And so I think that's where this question is coming from parents. We're just kind of lost as to where our kids are at because we haven't been in school with them. We're not able to observe as much, stuff like that. So curious as to if anybody has an answer or a comment on that.
Yeah, so one thing that's, again, I'll link some reading resources, but one thing that you can use, a tool you can use at home, super simple to tell if something's too difficult, is the 5-finger rule. So every time a child stutters or messes up, skips over a word, says it wrong, even adds a word that wasn't there, they put a finger down. And if you have 5 fingers down on one page, it's too hard. So that's a simple way to tell if it's too difficult, and then you just go down. But now to put in the chat.
Thank you. Anybody else have something similar? I know we've been looking for different resources to find that out. I know there's reading levels, and tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like I'm going crazy because I haven't heard about it in a while.
I'm gonna just share, I just know that as right now, I was just talking with my instructional coach about this a couple days ago, but we are still in the process of figuring out how are we going to evaluate kids at the end of the year? And if we are, is it going to be equitable? And I would say one thing, and as always, communicate with your teacher. I bet if you just ask them hey, what was their reading level before spring break? They will share that with you. One thing that I do for my kids, and yes, they're in pre-K, but at least so that they have books that read to them. It's called Raz Kids. And you can maybe talk to your teacher about her signing up and creating a class, because currently it is free for teachers because of everything going on. And they can actually put in your child's level of like what their reading level is, and the only books that these kids see is on their reading level, and it actually reads it to them if needed, and there's even like comprehension questions that go along with it. So that is something that you can maybe, oh, thank you, Taylor, that you can maybe share with your teacher to try and set up so that they can have books that are on their reading level that they can read. But yeah, right now, at least for my school, we are in the process of trying to figure out like if we're even going to evaluate students because of everything going on.
Awesome. Does anybody else have anything to chime in on that? All right. Well, I think this is really great feedback. I want to chime in on saying my son uses Epic, and I have a difficulty when he wants to go back to the books that are not for his level. And so I like this idea of them setting up where he can't go back and only forward, because right now, like, he's all over the place, and I know he likes like comic books and stuff like that, but I want him to challenge himself, and I find it difficult to do that when he has like pre-kinder to all kinds of levels, right? And so thank you for that idea of Raz Kids. Anything else, guys? If not, I do have one. Oh, wait, we're almost close to time, but I have one more question. Let's see. Let's pick a good one here. How do we minimize distractions at home? How about that? How can we do that? I know structure is going to be one of them, but any ideas?
I would suggest, I've kind of rearranged my home for my daughter that we have a designated workspace. It's not where it's free play time. It's not where it's a designated workspace. And I think that's helpful because, you know, when you're in that space, it's time to do some work. And having a visible schedule, if you have a young kid, maybe with pictures on it. But yeah, creating that at home, and it kind of makes it exciting when you know, make it a little special workspace as well. So
it's a frame of mind, right? It's like, now we're in this area where it's learning versus your whole home was just a home, right? I totally agree with that. And I want to leave some space for Carmen. I don't know if you had any particular question, Carmen. I know you talked about science, and I want to leave the rest or give you some space to ask any question you might have.
Basically, I just want to know, because she was struggling since the start year, started. Science class, I guess, wasn't her forte. And she always kept on complaining with the teacher and about what the teacher gave her to do, and as well as he's a male teacher. And I know him, and he's a good teacher. It's just that I guess she really doesn't like science, because even now I tell her, like, we can do experiments. We don't have to, because he even said, she doesn't have to do the homework. She can do stuff for science on her own and just tell me, look, show me what she's done, and I can grade her off of that. But I guess the science concept is not what she likes, I guess. So it's for me trying to get her into a subject, at least for her to get a decent grade, and understand science is not just about, I guess, reading, because most of it is reading. He can, the teacher says, honestly, science is mostly reading, and most of the kids are like wanting to do experiments. At this time, that's what I'm allowing my students to do. I give them a topic and have them do the experiment. They just have to show me how they did it. But for her, it's kind of like, I've always had a challenging her, because she's kind of, if she's not really motivated, she's not going to do it. And that's, I guess, what my thing is. How, as a parent, can I motivate her to do that?
Yeah, so we run into this all the time at school. If I had a penny for every time I had a child tell me they didn't want to. So, but you can use incentives charts. They're awesome. I use them as a whole for the whole class and specifically for one-on-one with some students. So simple as a sticker chart, or maybe it's you X off every day. So for instance, if I was in the classroom and I had a child who was struggling, they didn't want to read. This happens a lot. Reading is not always the funnest thing for kids to do. So basically they'd have a sticker chart in a folder, and there would be the whole month on there, a grid. And every day they read their book successfully, no complaining, and did it very well, they got a sticker. And when you got X amount of stickers, you got it picked from the treasure box. So you could even do it weekly, you know, like, okay, you did your 5 assignments this week, or you can start small. You know what? You did 3 assignments out of your 5 this week, like perfectly on your own. That's awesome. You got 3 stickers. So this week your goal was 3, you got 3, we can get ice cream. So you set that goal, and then you tell them what they will do. So it's called if then. So if you get these 3 stickers, then we can get that ice cream that you want. So that helps a lot.
Thank you.
I love it. And that was actually another question I had about incentivizing. So thank you so much for bringing that up. I do the same at home. I've worked on stuff like that since he was little, and it's evolutionized into now he's an 11-year-old boy, where it becomes more of a routine. Like, he knows he has to do the work, and then on Fridays he gets movie night, and we've had movie night since he was like in kinder. So and it works, and then it eliminates me having to, like, he always gets movie night just because. No, now there's a reason to get movie night because he's actually doing his work, right? So thank you guys, I appreciate that. And I think with that, it's time.
Yeah, thank you everyone so much for joining. Can we give a round of applause for the families and the educators on the call? Woo, 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 woo. I shared the Google PowerPoint with y'all in the chat, so you could access all of the resources that our teachers dropped in the chat. And we can email those out afterwards so you have access to them. But so much gratitude for everyone who came up, took up space, shared their energy this morning on a weekend amidst all of the crazy things that are going on. And just, yeah, thank you so much. So if you have any questions, please feel free to follow up with Maribel or myself or any of the educators. And that's all we have. Thank you again.
Yes. Thank you guys. We really appreciate you. You guys are rock stars. And we know that you're working really, really hard at this time. So we appreciate y'all being here.
Oh, what's your sister's name?
Don't mind Janet. She has visitors all the time.
For real though, that's a true statement. That's a
Yeah,
true
people
statement.
knock on her door because she's like the mama resource in her area, and so they'll come in and ask for, you know, whatever, like sugar, like literally like anything. Yeah, don't worry about it. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Happy Saturday.
Are you still on?
Seda and Kelly, will you be joining us for the Spanish space? Beautiful. Kelly, you get to be the co-leader because my Spanish is weak.
Ándale.
But I also, yeah, thanks for showing up on a Saturday.
Yeah, I was just really like interested in like what folks are saying, and you know, just seeing their faces. It's really cute.
That was really cool. Oh, I should have taken a picture. Oh, I recorded it. Yeah, I'm still recording. Carmen, thank you for making your way all the way from Memphis. It was really cool.
Yay.
Okay. Can I stay on for the Spanish one? Because I'm really interested in, because like for me, that's a big part of my thing, because all my family's members, let's say they come to me when they have issues, and I'm always trying to get them the best information for them.
Yes. Well, Carmen, let me share the link, the meeting ID in the chat so you have it. Because
Okay.
it would be a different call.
Okay. All right.
Okay, and it is 949-637-7283. And we'll see you in a few.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Is that one at 11?
Yes. So I'm going to take a bio break, and then I'll hop right on. But I think since y'all are co-hosts, you can already hop on.
How can I best hope for that one? Because again,
Elevate the chat.
Yeah.
cool. I'll do my best with Google Translate.
Yeah, this will be fun. I think there's only going to be 3 parents again.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Cool.
All right, go. Bye.